In the quaint village of Kokoro, nestled between two great rivers, there lived a woman of breathtaking beauty named Neoma. She was the heart of her family and the village, known for her kindness, grace, and the tender care she gave to those around her. She lived with her husband, Ekene, a humble farmer, and their children, in a modest home crafted from bamboo and clay. Despite their struggles with poverty, their love for one another created a warmth that filled their home. Ekene worked tirelessly in the fields, while Neoma managed the household with great care, weaving garments, preparing meals, and raising their children. But despite their contentment, the village had seen better days. The harvests were poor, the rivers unpredictable, and the rains fickle. Yet the family remained hopeful, as they had each other and a deep belief in the spirits that watched over them, particularly the river goddess that flowed through their land, a deity known for her beauty, grace, and strength. The villagers had long revered her, offering prayers to the river for bountiful harvests and good fortune. One fateful day, Neoma ventured to the riverbank to wash the clothes, as she often did. The cool rush of the water against the rocks and the sound of birds singing in the trees was a peaceful backdrop to her walk. But that day, something was different. As Neoma knelt by the water, she felt an odd sensation, a pull, as if the river itself had come alive. She tried to resist it, but her body was gently drawn toward the water, her hands trembling, as though a strange force was beckoning her. In a flash, she was gone, swallowed by the river's currents, vanishing without a trace. Ekene, frantic, called out to his wife, but the river had already claimed her. His heart shattered as he searched the shores for any sign of Neoma. The villagers rallied together, sending their best warriors and hunters to search the surrounding forests and rivers, but to no avail. The days turned into weeks, and the hope of finding Neoma alive began to fade. The villagers, though sorrowful, could not ignore the mysterious disappearance of Neoma. Whispers spread through the village. Perhaps the river goddess, who was said to dwell in the depth of the river, had taken Neoma for her own reasons. Some believed it was out of jealousy, for the goddess had long admired Neoma's beauty. Others feared that the goddess had chosen Neoma to be her servant, a fate no one could understand. As the weeks passed, Neoma's absence weighed heavily on Ekene's heart. Yet little did he know, in the depths of the river, something magical was unfolding. The river goddess, moved by Neoma's extraordinary beauty, grace, and purity of heart, had indeed taken her into her realm. The goddess, whose name was Onwu, had long observed Neoma from afar. She had fallen in love with the woman's kindness, her unwavering strength, and her nurturing spirit. Onwu, who was both a deity of the water and the keeper of ancient wisdom, initiated Neoma into the sacred mysteries of the marine kingdom. In the quiet seclusion of the river's depths, Neoma was trained in the ways of the waters, learning secrets older than the earth itself. She was taught to communicate with the fish, to command the flow of the river, and to understand the language of the current. Her beauty, once a source of earthly admiration, now became a symbol of her deep connection to the river's life force. Onwu, who had once been solitary, found a kindred spirit in Neoma, and their bond grew stronger as time passed. Exactly 1 month after Neoma's disappearance, the village was in mourning, unsure of what had truly become of her. And then, as though she had never been gone, Neoma returned. She appeared at the edge of the river, bathed in an ethereal glow. Her beauty seemed even more radiant than before, and her eyes held the wisdom of the deep. In her hand, she held a small, shimmering coin. The villagers gathered around in awe, unsure whether to believe their eyes. With a gentle smile, Neoma approached her family. She placed the coin in Ekene's hands, her touch warm, yet distant. The coin glimmered with an otherworldly light, and Neoma explained that it was a gift from Onwu, the river goddess. It was a token of prosperity, a magical artifact that would bring wealth beyond their wildest dreams. The goddess had bestowed it upon her, believing that Neoma, with her pure heart, could bring great change to the village. As promised, Neoma's life changed overnight. With the magic of the coin, her family's fortunes flourished. Ekenia's crops grew bountiful, and their house, once humble, was transformed into a grand mansion, adorned with gold and precious gems. The villagers marveled at Neoma's sudden wealth, and she became the richest woman in Kokoro. Yet, despite the luxury surrounding her, Neoma remained kind and generous, helping those in need and sharing her good fortune with the less fortunate. However, with the wealth came a price, a spiritual one. Neoma had become the river goddess's chosen consort, bound not only by the coin but by an ancient pact. Each night, as the moon rose high, Onwu would visit Neoma in the dead of night, taking her to the depths of the water where she would fulfill her spiritual duties as the goddess's companion. Ekeni, though heartbroken by this arrangement, understood. He had witnessed the transformation in his wife, the quiet sadness in her eyes, the longing she could not deny. Though he missed her terribly, he respected her new role and gave way, allowing Neoma to honor the bond she had with the river goddess. But the balance was delicate, and fate was cruel. One day, Neoma's children visited her grand mansion. They had grown older and more curious, eager to see the mother who had returned with such great wealth. As they played in the garden, one of them, a young boy, stumbled into Neoma's chambers. In his innocence, he accidentally disturbed his mother's spiritual slumber. As Neoma awoke from the trance that connected her to Onwu, something broke. The bond between Neoma and the river goddess was severed, and Neoma's spirit was torn between the earthly realm and the underwater kingdom. Her body, though still beautiful and radiant, fell lifeless to the ground. The village, once filled with celebration, fell silent as the reality set in. Ekeni rushed to his wife, his heart in agony, but it was too late. Neoma's body was cold, her once vibrant life extinguished. Yet her spirit, bound to the river goddess, could not leave the depths. She was trapped, forever torn between two worlds. The villagers, understanding that the river goddess had claimed Neoma for her own, held a grand funeral. The river was calm that day, its surface reflecting the setting sun as though it too mourned the loss. Neoma's soul was taken back into the water, where she would live eternally as Onwu's consort, a queen of the marine kingdom. But the village of Kokoro would never forget the beauty, kindness, and love Neoma had brought to their lives. The story of the woman who was both earthly and divine passed down through generations, a tale of love, sacrifice, and the eternal pull of the river's depths. And in the quiet moments when the river whispered through the trees, the villagers would swear they could still hear Neoma's voice, calling to them from the water, forever entwined with the goddess she had loved. Thank you for watching, hope you liked the story. Please like, share, and subscribe now for more entertaining and enchanting stories with us. And also comment below, let us know what you think about the story.